Welcome back, you psychotic wandering termites, to another exciting day of Let's Playing Baldur's Gate down the path of evil with our good friend Luther of Gladstone. Last we left off, we had just slain Dynahair and found the need to keep traversing further into the Knoll Stronghold, the lower Knoll Stronghold, in order to get our hands on the Tome of Leadership. And we are greeted in kind by an immediate assortment of gnolls. Surprise, surprise. What a thing to find in the Knoll Fortress. Now, we're in a bit of a pickle as far as the evil Let's Play goes, because our team here is rather unequipped. Funnily enough, our level is much higher than we are in the good Let's Play, but our equipment is very sad indeed. In fact, for the most part, our party tends to be all long-range fighters and then Luther. So we find ourselves in situations like this, where we really just need all of the melee gnolls to fight Luther, but instead they decide to chase our party around. Hopefully somebody else will get a hit here, and we'll be able to get rid of this one gnoll over here, whilst Luther forms a blockade, a one-man blockade, preventing the other two gnolls from reaching our back line. As we play Ring Around the Rosie here, we do at least find a little bit of solace in knowing that we are faster and still able to evade this gnoll's movements. There he finally falls, Luther having already taken care of one of the two gnolls down below. Quickly dispatches the last one. Alright guys, how you doing? I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're ready to sit down, kick back, whatever it is you do. I don't know, sit up straight and have some fun in the world of Farron. With the way that our party is settled here, it's really feeling like we should just have Luther walk in front and have him draw the initial aggro from any of these encounters we might find ourselves in. He, in and of himself, with his -1 AC, is more than enough of a match. Now, why doesn't he have his sword? That was weird. Wait a minute, did one of his weapons break, but it was the weapon in his inventory? Something funny happened there, I don't know what happened. Anyway, but with Luther being the only character on our party with any sort of melee proficiency, well, I should say any sort of armored melee proficiency, Edwin certainly isn't going to be our frontliner. Rasad is a joke. Chartiel may have once at one time been a frontliner. She is no longer. She is our thief. And Branwyn, well, she does have the respectable armor class of 1, or at least respectable for this early part of the game. It's at least better than probably the rest of the party, but her AC of 1, what am I talking about? Branwyn can probably throw down with Luther here. Let's give her a, what is she good with, maces? No, warhammers. We're not going to find a warhammer out here.
And will not go lightly.
Anyway, we could probably we'll give Branwyn this quarterstaff that we've been carrying around apparently since Candlekeep.
Thank God. That would of course be me.
And oh, she already had a quarterstaff. Give us that quarterstaff back, Branwyn.
Your wish?
Anyway, yeah, Branwyn and Luther should really have no trouble together here. She's lacking a shield. No, she isn't. She has a shield right there. Although it would be prudent if she swapped over to the quarterstaff. But of course, while using the quarterstaff, she will not have a shield. Regardless, with her 26 HP, and now, unfortunately, because of the loss of a shield and armor class of 2, she'll more than likely be fine, adding a much-needed another second body to our frontline situation. This group of Zarts should pose little to no threat. It's doubtful whether they even have the ability to pierce through Luther's armor class.
This is a trusting fellow.
You have to think everyone more or less naturally has a 50% chance to hit a character with an armor class of 10. So at the point where you reach an armor class of 0, then the only way that a person with a natural Phaco, like an unaltered Phaco, yes, even Branwen just got hit there for 3, would have only a 5% chance, that being that of a natural 20. Branwen's still getting hit here. We're gonna have to pull her back. She's good for a backup frontliner like this, but I don't want her taking the full frontal force of all of the Zards. And there we have it.
Thank God, and will not go lightly.
Alright, I think this might be the cave, perhaps? We'll know if it has a coffin in it. This is not the cave.
This is a trusting fellow.
And unfortunately, we're running on the Baldur's Gate 2 engine, so those Zards are able to follow us. Oh no, Edwin! Edwin, buddy! We need you.
And will not go lightly.
You're our only mage.
Save your thanks.
What is your command?
I am prepared.
I love bloodshed.
Okay. Oh, that's so sad. Well, we lost Edwin.
Hello?
I suppose the guy didn't even have any spells to cast, so it's not like we lost anything as far as our fighting force goes.
Thank God. I knew God ruled
And it's
this planet.
certainly not like the Zards themselves are granting us any large amount of EXP.
I need more of that serum. Why? Name your price.
Luther got hit, but it's nothing
Save your thanks.
immediately dangerous.
Planet now, and his name is Luther.
It is a fine day.
Unfortunately, we are going to have somebody pick up all of Edwin's stuff. Not that it was that much.
This is a trusting fellow.
That's fine, we'll bring Edwin back. It's a good thing we didn't level him up, sort of, because now he'll be 100 gold cheaper to res. So 200 gold to res, that's frustrating, but we'll deal with it.
Is a trusting fellow.
Oh, carrion crawler, this isn't fun.
Man, if it bleeds.
Okay, so one of us is going to need to get this thing's attention, and then they're going to have to not get hit, like, ever.
Save your thanks.
Because if they do,
Thank God.
they're just doomed.
That would of course be.
Of course, carrion crawlers have that paralysis
Is a
effect,
trusting fellow.
guaranteeing that all future hits from the carrion crawler will be successful.
Strength of Luther.
We should probably figure out which one the carrion crawler is singling in on. It's not Branwen, it might be Rasad here. Again, one of the rare instances where the monk's movement speed is actually useful is when kiting something like this.
And will not
Carrion crawler goes down, there's nothing else in this cave, so we'll just go ahead and leave. Kind of makes you wonder why the Zards had a carrion crawler in a cave to begin with, and how that carrion crawler didn't decide to take a bite out of one of those Zards while they were sleeping. Several more Zards. Does Luther have anything up his sleeve? No. No spells, no abilities. Oh! But Branwen has a couple abilities from being a cleric of Tempest. Plus, I think this Spirit Hammer, she has 3 Spirit Hammers abilities. I think those are unique to her as an NPC. It's just like a thing she gets.
Hello?
save your thanks.
But since she's proficient in Warhammer, now she can use a Warhammer and get the benefit of her shield
Save your thanks.
I am prepared.
and fight on the front line. So we don't even need to worry about her quarterstaff. No!
Carrion.
What's even happening here? Why did she die? She had like 12 HP. Hold on, what happened? Branwen, Spiritual Hammer. Okay, but where's the damage? Yeah, Zart rolls a 20. Deals 9 plus 3 bonus? Is that what that is? Takes 9. Yeah, I think she must have had 8 HP. I was wrong about the 13.
A new god rules this planet now, and his name is Luther.
Okay, so things are quickly getting out of hand here. We're gonna need somebody to continue to carry all of this leftover loot. And by loot, I mean the belongings of our former companions. That's okay. Branwen was, what, lawful good? No, surely not lawful good. What is she? She's true neutral.
Save your
So no, we have no reason to be afraid of having her on in the party. I'll go ahead and drop our busted sword, give Chartiel some of these gems. Oh, even her inventory's full. Well, we picked... We're right at the edge then, aren't we? Of, when we need to go back. I feel like somebody else picked up a scroll of magic missile, so we'll go ahead and stack that. Hand that back over to Chartiel, and then we'll have that last inventory slot available for the Tome of Leadership, and we will get out of here. That was a very expensive endeavor. Arguably, we should have slept and healed, but that would have taken time, and nobody got time to stand around the Knoll Stronghold and sleep. Ah, man. We only have just enough money to actually pay for these reses.
Thank God.
It's okay, I don't really think we have anything pressing that we need to purchase at the moment.
Save your thanks.
Always Thunderhammer Smithy guy. I can never remember his real name. He usually has some good loot to buy. But we'll find probably enough stuff just out adventuring. Chartiel is nearly out of arrows. If we get into another fight, we'll need to make sure we avoid having her engage in combat. And we just need to get out of here and hope that nothing new spawned in between us and the exit. Yeah, we're getting some weird lag when we zoom out like that.
Thank God. That would, of course, be me. Save your... Hey, this is a trusting fellow.
Okay. Nashkel it is again. This priest is getting a lot of business in these playthroughs. I think I mentioned this already in the good playthrough. I can't remember if I've mentioned it yet in the evil playthrough, but we are attempting to scum save as little as possible. Perhaps not the wisest of decisions, but it is why we are going to accept the penalties of our dead party members and pay the cost to resurrect them. We'll probably play a lot more safe later on in the game. These early parts of the game really are just... they're so gear dependent. Like... there's certainly an amount of strategy we could be employing to further our cause, but it's not... I guess what I'm saying is paying the 400 gold now to res these characters... yeah, it's annoying. It's gonna... holy Branwyn, why are you 400? Wait. We can pay to res... I was gonna say, paying this money now early isn't a big deal, because by the time we get to the end of the game, we'll have so much money it doesn't matter, but holy mackerel! Branwyn, why are you 400 gold to res? She's only level 3. Why are you 400 gold? Alright, we're gonna need to figure this one out. First off, we're gonna need to find a place to rest. Normally we could rest in this inn. Is this the save file that we've messed up? I'm getting my Let's Plays mixed up. Is this the one where we've ticked off the tavern patrons? Or have we even come in here yet? Okay guys, come on. Oh gosh, no, we haven't. Alright, so this is of course where we run into Nira. Nira will immediately open fire on you, and I suggest, due to the rather weak station of the majority of our party, in fact, very quickly we're going to hand Edwin his sling back. But yes, due to the position we find ourselves in of being the weaker group, we are going to take every dirty advantage we can have and immediately open fire on Nira.
That would of course be me.
Maybe we'll get a lucky hit here. Of course she has some dialogue later, or sorry, some dialogue if you decide to talk to her, something about wanting you to die. We're going to need to cheese here. Now, I was hoping that we wouldn't have to do this, but when she casts a spell, we're going to duck into a building, and that's going to prevent the spell from actually completing. This is kind of a dirty tactic, but it's very useful against... Oh, crap. So she didn't target one of us. She targeted... No, somehow the spell went through. In spite of the fact that we entered and exited a building, the spell completed. Now, Edwin is now rigidly thinking. He's no longer able to be within our control. Look at that. Apparently the spell, if you enter and exit... Or sorry, if you exit the area and then enter back in, the spell will follow through. That's a very interesting change. Used to be it would cancel out almost immediately. So when we leave, we're going to have to make sure that the spell finishes before coming back into the room. Now, we're getting a lot of help here from what appears to be one of the guards. Edwin is still randomly wandering around. It's a very good thing that Nira hasn't seen him, because if she did... It's a pretty good chance she would just immediately go after Edwin. Now, Chartil is out of arrows. She's no longer usable as a ranged fighter. But between Edwin, the guard, and Rasad, we should be good here. She was knocked out of what was going to be her Spirit Hammer spell. Nira was. The problem is, of course, she has that medium shield, which actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if that gets a bonus against ranged weapons or not. She was killed by the Omnian soldier, so we don't get any of the credit for that.
Name your price. And will not go lightly.
But hey, all's well that ends well, I suppose. Nira's dead, our party's alive, and we have access to the inn in Nashgale now, which is more than we can say for our good party. Edwin's gonna need to do a little bit of heavy lifting here. Let's have him grab all the stuff. Oh, he can't carry it. So instead, let's swap some gear with Chartil, and that should give him free range of motion. You should do yourself a favor and stay indoors tonight. I've heard all sorts of weird things happening at night. What can you give me today? Definitely resting at the Inn of Nobility after that bout. Oh. But we lack a healer, so we're not healing very much at night.
And will not go lightly.
So we need to find 400 gold somehow. 400 gold. So much money. I guess next time we'll take the time to move a little slower and make sure that we rest and heal. Okay, let's go ahead and level up our characters. Do a little bit of house cleaning here. Chartil's gonna want the short bow. Find traps boosted here just because we'll need it eventually. It's not necessarily important to have it right away, but one way or the other we'll need it. Edwin taking that next level, granting him access to level 2 spells now. 3 slots. He might have had access at the other level. No. Why does he have 3 slots? What's giving him the 3rd slot? So he's a specialist mage, so he should automatically get the 1 extra slot, but why is he getting 3? It's not like his int is crazy high, it's just 18. I don't know, guys. One of you gents or ladies who are far smarter than I am in the comments, feel free to point out why that's happening, if you happen to know. At any rate, let's grab... Well, first off, let's pass all these scrolls over to Edwin. Perhaps we'll actually get a level 2 spell for him to cast, since currently he has none. Now, I said we were going to avoid scum saving in almost every circumstance, except spell learning, because I think that's dumb. So we're going to go ahead and quick save. We're going to try to learn Horror. That's the most important one, since it's going to be our level 2 spell here. 3 level 2 Horror spells memorized. Now, the rest of these aren't as important, so we'll just go ahead and throw them in here willy-nilly. If we get them, we get them. If we don't, we don't. And we lost what appeared to be, what was that, Stinking Cloud? A little bit of a pity. I think that's a level 3 spell. But of course, everyone knows that only the true only level 3 spells that you need is Haste and Fireball.
Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
Now that we've taken care of that, let's take a quick look at our inventory and offload all of this junk. Oh, look at that! Fire Opal Ring. 250 gold. That'll be enough to pay for Branwen's res. All's well that ends well. And ends with your healers not being dead. Well, now that we have the money to do that, let's just run right back over to the Helm Tempest
And will not go
Temple. Tempest Helm Temple. It's like a tongue twister. Who are you? Taurus, why are you all the way down there? Anyway, with Branwen back, we'll be able to fully and equally distribute our gear, as well as make sure that we're up to date on our ranged weaponry, etc., etc. As far as purchasing bolts, quarrels, and arrows. Isn't it strange that we call them arrows because I can't remember if it was Greek or Roman, but what was effectively Cupid, right? I'm butchering mythology here. Anyway, one of the gods' name was Eros, so we call, and he used a bow and arrows, so we call them arrows, right? Pretty sure that's why. Otherwise, I just made all of that up and I just hilariously rewrote mythology. Okay. I've been putting this off for far too long, but it is high time we do full-on house cleaning with all our characters. We need to clean up their inventories, get rid of all their crazy stuff, identify things that we can identify. Oh, Edwin. Edwin.
What is it now?
We really need you with an identification spell.
Thank God. Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
Okay, so we are going to do all that, but we're going to first make a hilarious
Will not
trip
go lightly.
to High Hedge, because we need an identification scroll. And we haven't found one somehow. I thought we stole one. Didn't we steal one from... Oh, but we taught Czar it, and then Czar died, and all sorts of hilariousness ensued. And by hilariousness, I mean misfortune. And by misfortune, I mean a total drainage of our funds.
Is a trusting fellow.
I feel like I thought going into this that the evil run was going to be easier, because we were going to be able to murder, cheat, steal, and pillage anything we wanted to, and instead, it's just rightly turned out to be more difficult overall. I don't know if that's possibly due to our choices, probably due to our choices,
Is a trusting fellow.
but also just in general, being evil has really not done a whole lot for us. It netted us 200 gold from Ublek, but otherwise has just either prevented us from gaining quest rewards because we're too busy being a dick to NPCs, or it's just increased store costs.
And will not go lightly.
Anyway, we already did Thalantir's quest with Melicamp, so we're at least on speaking terms with him. I have nothing more to say to you. Leave me be. I sincerely hope you have some other reason for bothering me. I've already stated that I wish you to leave. There's a way to get a shop from him. Hang on, let me figure this out. Rumors talk of... oh, right, Luther voice. Rumors talk of a powerful mage that lives out here. If it is you, I would like to speak with you. Rumors? Bah! There is no mage here that wishes to speak or be spoken of. Unless, of course, you have magic that you wish to sell. We're interested in selling or even buying magical items. What do you have? Yeah, so Thalantir is loaded with all the game's best stuff. Until you reach Baldur's Gate, of course. So, this is a grand opportunity to pick up on the necessities for Edwin. Edwin is going to be our primary spellcaster, at least for the time being. Perhaps we'll use TX later. Oh no. Oh no. Are you kidding me? He can't learn Identify? How are we going to identify things? What kind of school of magic doesn't let you learn identification? Conjurers. They're worthless. Never play as a conjurer. Never, I'm telling you now, guys, never play as a conjurer. It's not worth it. Holy crap, Edwin. You're dead to me. There is no way we can afford to spend 100 gold every time we want something identified. It's too much. And I told you, or at least I said it in one of the playthroughs, I can't remember if it was this one, I really gotta keep better track of this stuff, that we are not equipping things until we identify them. It's a self-created handicap, because otherwise the game's no fun, because we already know what everything does. Okay, well, for the time being, you know what? We just realized something hilarious. Sharteal can totally equip Splintmail because she's half fighter. Well, she's not even half fighter. She's just 1 level in fighter. Apologies, 2 levels in fighter. But still, all the same, that means we can give her the heavier armor, and I think the only penalty she'll encounter is the inability to stealth. But we don't really care about that. We're never going to have her stealth in any meaningful capacity. So, now that's something we don't need. Who are we going to give all the junk we sell? Let's just give it to Sharteal. Go ahead and give Edwin back a quarterstaff, and we'll continue going through the whole house cleaning bit here. Perhaps we have some magical things that our good friend Thalantir may be interested in. Still, though, the inability to learn identification. What are we going to do, my friends? How are we going to get around this self-imposed restriction of not being able to equip unidentified gear? It's certainly going to make things difficult. Okay, we already know we're never going to give Sharteal a shield, so we're just gonna not even worry about that. Unidentified club. Plenty of bastard swords for Luther. A lot of healing potions here. Let's divvy these up a bit. You never know when one of your characters is going to get stunned, and that one character who was stunned is, of course, naturally, every time, the character who is carrying all the healing potions, so it's always important to divvy these up. A couple of unidentified potions here. A lot of potions that we just kind of need to take a look at and figure out who would be best to hold them. Here's the bounty notice from Nira. Be it known to all those of evil intent that a bounty has been placed upon the head of Luther of Gladstone, the foster child of Gorion. Last seen in the region of Baragos, this person is to be killed in quick order. The subject is to be considered a formidable foe and is likely to have well-equipped traveling companions. Yeah, well, and the Omnian Guard. This offer has been extended to all appropriate guilds. Those returning with proof of the deed shall receive no less than 680 coins of gold. As always, tell anyone about it and you're dead. Oh boy. Well, we're getting there. House cleaning is never fun, but it's a natural and mandatory part of any Baldur's Gate adventure. Sellables again are going to Sharteal. Do we need this other sling? Yes, this is Branwen's sling. Who has the rest of the stones? Seems that our friend Rasad does. We're getting there, slowly but surely. Okay. All unidentifieds are handled by Branwen, who I believe has our highest lore stat. Highest by 0. No, Chezni, you're wrong. Oh gosh, Rasad has a lore of 3. Sharteal, a lore of 2. Technically, Edwin has our highest lore at 10. That's not going to be enough to identify anything. Potion of Master Thievery is going to go to Sharteal. Potion of Clarity, what does that do? Prevents Feeble Mind, Charm. I think we're going to give that to Luther. Potion of Cold Resistance, that's a weird one. We'll just give that to Edwin for the time being. And Electrical Resistance, also a weird one. We'll just give that to Rasad for the time being. Potion of Hill Giant Strength, only usable by fighters, I believe. Oh, and monks, apparently. Hill Giant Strength, cranking our strength to 19. Fortunately, Luther's really the only one who can use this. We would give it to Branwen if she could use it, but it's not a lot of option for that to be effective in our party. Fortunately, not really any magical gear here either to sell to Thalantir, so we'll just have to take a quick peek at his scrolls and see if there's anything we want to grab for Edwin for the future. Now, he can't read off of an identify scroll. Can he cast? Or sorry, he can't write it into his book. Can he cast from it? I'm assuming not. Man, I think we have to go get Tiax. Is Tiax even on this side of the river? This is a really expensive scroll. Can't believe we spent 180 gold for an identification scroll. Okay, I really didn't expect to be taking such a long-winded detour here from the mines, but I think we have to find TX. We just can't go through the game without identification. We could get Garrick, I suppose. Garrick is of course a bard. He's going to have a naturally high lore stat. Sort of one of the small claim to fames of being a bard. It's possible that if we can't recruit TX, that Garrick is the direction we're going to have to go. I can't believe I'm saying that. I hate bards. The only class I hate more than bards are monks. So that should tell you how much we despise bards here. But funnily enough, they do have a naturally high lore stat, which in any normal circumstance would be useless because you would just have your wizard cast Identify.
My training did not prepare me for such extended.
Looks like we're all getting a little tired here. Getting that -1 from fatigue, plus another -1 for every hour after. I don't think we care. Oh, running into Elminster here. Ho there, Wanderer, stay their course a moment, to indulge an old man. It's been nigh unto a 10 days since I've had seen a soul walking this road, and I've been without decent conversation since. Travelling nowadays appears to be the domain of either the desperate or the deranged. If thou wouldst pardon my intrusion, might I inquire as to which pertains to thee? I am not so stupid as to listen to strangers in the middle of nowhere, no matter how much they how infirm they appear to be. Off with you. Well, deranged it is then. I shall leave thee, if that is what thou dost wish. Heed my parting words, however, and treat strangers with a touch more respect, at least until thou hast determined whether they are a threat, and perhaps more powerful than they seem. Do not dally about on these roads for long. Someone with thy manners will not last an eve. The friendly Armin is to the north. They extend sanctuary even to such as thee. Yes, of course, this is rather hilarious, because if you've read any of the Elminster books, you know that Elminster is more or less on the same level of power as a god at this point. He effectively is Mistra's avatar. Or, well, maybe not in those words, but certainly that is not a hyperbole if you wish to describe him as such. AKA, he makes wizards that can cast level 9 spells look weak.
And will not go lightly.
That sounded like the nerdiest thing I've said in a long time. He makes wizards that can cast level 9 spells look weak. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Anyway. Alright, serious time. We're gonna run over here and grab the coveted and cherished ring of wizardry. Perhaps we shall choose not to use it. Using it it grants your wizard such a powerful boon, seeing as how it doubles all level 1 spells slots that you can have memorized. It's extremely potent early in the game and maintains its usefulness throughout even the majority of the game beyond, where you're learning level 1 spells. There's a big difference between a wizard that has 4 magic missile spells and 8, let me tell you. Big difference. Wait, what are we doing here? We don't even need to be here. We're recruiting TX. Like, instinctively I saw the friendly arm in and just, like, went to go in, but pff, we don't... Evil Luther doesn't have time to play around with these codgers. Let's just get out of here. Leave this dreadful place. Oh, well, actually, we need to go up north through the path don't we, in order to unlock the area on the map. You know, evil Luther might not be as well equipped as his good counterpart, but darn it if we aren't scrappy and have explored a lot more places. Revel as we walk through the night in silence. Funnily enough, I was gonna say, there's supposed to be some hobgoblins down here. Okay, apparently we did not get another quarterstaff. Oh, right, we gave Branwen Edwin's quarterstaff. We'll go ahead and hand her Luther's so she at least has a melee weapon that she can have equipped at all times. We did not buy Chartil any arrows, so she's stuck with her longsword and dagger motif. Apparently Branwen is encumbered? Are you kidding me? Maybe she wasn't the best choice to hold on to the unidentified items, although the Tome of Leadership is just unnecessarily heavy at 30 pounds or whatever it was.
And will not go lightly.
Do we need a helmet? Does anyone need a helmet? Branwen needs a helmet. Does anyone else need a helmet? A helmet is kind of silly. It prevents critical hits. That's just good to have.
And will not go lightly.
In fact, I think it was a critical hit that killed Branwen last time, so if she had just been wearing a helmet. You know, kids these days, they don't want to wear their helmets, but they don't realize how many lives they save. Bunch more of Jim Cumming hobgoblins.
A new god rules this planet now, and his name is Luther.
And we'll just let everyone run their course as far as physical attacks go. Branwen, come on, lady. I know you don't have -1 AC like Luther, but man, do you get hit. Okay, well, a lot of gems on these ones, and Joya's flame dance ring. Pfft, that's our flame dance ring now.
This is a trusting fellow.
We don't care about who is Joya. Okay, we're in Ankeg territory now, and we might run into Agentis, the mighty paladin. Yep, there he is. We certainly don't want him on our party.
Halt! Be you friend or foe?
You guys ever watch Hocus Pocus? I know some of you have watched it. Don't judge me. Hocus Pocus, the old Disney Halloween movie, right? I'm recording this in October, so this is a great time for this. Okay, do you remember the cat, right? The talking cat? And briefly, you get to see him as a human at the beginning of the movie. Same voice actor as this guy. Isn't that great? That's just amazing. Also, Haku from Spirited Away. Halt! Be you friend or foe? When was the last time someone answered foe, Tinhead? Why don't you just tell us who the hell we are? You are. I have not come across such rude travelers in a long time. Off with you. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I've ever seen this dialogue option. Sorry we upset you, Mr. Garbage Can. We just want to ask you, is that your natural stench we smell, or did you make a mess in your armor because our weapon scared you? I will not take these insults to my honor. Draw steel. If that's the way you want it, you armor-plated buffoon, then prepare to meet your god.
For the glory of hell!
Thank God.
So we have another servant of Helm here. It's interesting that we have Branwen on our team whilst also fighting Agentis. The poor boy only has a sword and shield, so of course we're going to implement the same annoying strategy as we use for every melee fighter, which is dance around and throw things at him.
Thank God. And will not go lightly.
I understand.
Chartil is a good target for him to go after, considering she is...
Save your thanks.
Pardon me. She is the only one without ranged weapons at this point. Now, this kind of feels like bullying at this point. Alright, well, free gold and, chainmail armor. Ain't nobody got time for chainmail. Well, that was fun. Picking on a random paladin of Tempest. Oh gosh, no. Oh no. What is this adventure turning into? Okay guys, I was really hoping we could avoid these things, but no, this is Ankeg territory. There is no avoiding Ankegs in Ankeg territory. So pretty much the only way we're going to survive this is if we can get Luther to draw this thing's attention and keep him alive with healing potions. Ankegs aren't too bad as long as you can get them focused on a fighter with decent AC. Then they tend to be pretty okay, but yeah, as you can see, pretty early in the fight, immediately just 10 crushing damage. We're gonna have Luther chug a potion, because I get the feeling this is probably not going to be our fight. We'll win it, but it's not gonna be pretty. In fact, Luther can just go ahead and throw down his Larlock's Minor Drain here. He's gonna need it. We of course got that by having the Evil Dream. We're dealing some hits here. This is good. Interesting. Luther took another 10 damage from the Ankeg and then taunted him, saying, "Is that your best?" That's fantastic. I know I keep saying it, but the lines Lepcis chose for Luther are just amazing. Okay, drinking more healing potions here should keep our friend Luther alive. And we should just be fine by the end of it. Now we could take this Ankeg shell and ask Thunderhammer Smithy guy to build us an armor from it, but it's going to be very expensive. But at this point, I'm starting to think we might have earned it and or it might be worth it. Now with any luck, we won't run into any more Ankegs. We should probably find the path and stick to it. For whatever reason, the path strikes me as being a safer place. Now, one trick you can use, we knew this Ankeg was coming after us, and the reason we did is because we could hear it. One trick you can do is move the camera to various locations on the edge of the Fog of War and listen. And if you can hear the Ankeg sound effect, whoa! If you hear the Ankeg sound effect, then you know there's an Ankeg there. So that wasn't a critical hit. Luther just rolled a 9. And he's getting a plus 11 Thanko. That's crazy. Rolled as low as a 9 and just dealt 15 damage. How the heck did he deal 15 damage with just a Bastard Sword? These things are only 2d4. So what would have been? Let's assume he rolled max. That would have been 8 damage. And then plus, what is it? Like 4 or 5 from strength? So that would have been around 13 plus proficiency bonuses. Yeah, I think we just rolled max damage on a regular roll. Anyway, that's a welcome sight against this thing. Oh, somebody got a critical hit, I think. Brandman rolled a critical hit, but it still only dealt 4 damage. I guess stones really aren't the most damaging weapon in the world. Most of the damage here seems to be being dealt by Luther himself. He dealt another 11 there. Somebody lost something? What did we lose, status effect-wise? Oh, Luther probably lost his extra HP that he got from Larlock's Minor Drain. Do we want to carry around another Ankeg shell? We don't need to. There's no reason to.
Thank God.
Perhaps there's some random NPC who wants one that I'm forgetting, but as far as I know, you don't need 2 Ankeg shells. They're heavy enough on their own. What is it, like 100 pounds or something like that? Yeah, 100 even.
And will not go lightly.
For an exoskeleton, they're quite heavy. Okay, maybe now we won't run into any more Ankegs. Come on! Why do I even say anything? Okay, we have the acid spit. Oh gosh, there's 2 of them. Okay. I don't think horror will even affect an Ankeg. We need to pull something out here. Okay, we'll have Brandman bless everyone. We'll have these characters move forward just to make sure they're in bless range. Sharteal is playing it fast and loose here. Whoa! We just annihilated that one. What happened there? 14 damage from Luther, 6 damage from Rasad, 14 again previously from Luther. Okay, I guess we just...
Save your thanks.
Turns out actually hitting your target is good.
Strength of Luther.
These guys aren't worth a small amount of EXP either at 975. It's not as much as a Basilisk, but it's not nothing either. Well, suddenly this is turned into a fight where there's only one Ankeg, and well, we already know we can easily fight one Ankeg. Gonna make sure that this one's fighting Luther, and we'll have Sharkeel run back in. Looks like Luther took about 13 crushing damage, but that's fine. He's protected from critical hits due to his helmet, so I'm not really worried about a random death there.
Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
Well, now that we're out of combat, we'll just have Branwen throw down Cure Light Wounds on Luther, and we should be good to keep going. That was pretty fancy. Okay.
This
Now,
is a trusting fellow.
time to figure out if my memory is... Actually, I don't really have much of a memory on this. TX is either on this side of the bridge or on the other side of the bridge. And if he's on the other side of the bridge, we came all the way over here for nothing. Starting to feel like that's what we did. The misadventures of the ragtag group of Evil Luther. I'm starting to really root for Evil Luther, you know? I mean, I don't think I've ever played the game Evil. I've always just been good. The game's much easier to play as good. You tend to get more stuff. And a lot of the stealing you can do is unregistered by the game as being an evil act. So yeah, typically you just play good and all the world's bonuses will float into your pockets. But, oh my goodness, why is there an Ankeg up here?
Save your thanks.
Well, Rasad's gonna have to run backwards with his tail between his legs. Branwen wasn't dealing the most damage in that last fight, so just to be safe, we'll have her move in to heal Luther with a Cure Light Wound spell, while everyone else continues to do what they did in the last fights. The majority of our damage here is coming from Luther. It makes sense, he is a fighter. Fighters just tend to deal the most damage, especially, well, not especially, very much so, in the early levels of Baldur's Gate.
Thank God. That would of course be me.
But, yeah, just another Ankeg down here. Silver Necklace and Nestor's Dagger? Who the heck is Nestor?
Is a trusting fellow.
Maybe we'll hold on to Nestor's Dagger just because maybe they'll pay us for it. Anyway, we'll talk to this Tenya person.
You are trespassing on my land home.
Alright. We all know Chezni can't do a little girl voice, so here we go. None may come this way, armed as you are. It was those horrible fishermen that hired you, wasn't it? Speak! I know not of whom you speak, child. I've no quarrel with thee, but be sure this remains so, and leave! Okay.
Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
So apparently she's upset about some fishermen. Those fishermen are actually in Cloakwood, I believe, and we won't encounter them until far, far later into the game. People are getting a little fatigued. We got a couple levels here, which is nice, so let's level up and then take a rest. Branwen even got another proficiency point in weapons. Now, we could be cool and put it in something like Warhammer. Oh, no, we can't, because we can't go above 1 pip. Okay. Where does that leave us? I suppose we could put points into, what? Sword and shield style? Sure, I guess? There's really not a lot of useful things to do here. I mean, expanding the number of weapons that you're proficient in isn't really that helpful, so much as doubling down on your proficiency on the weapon that you're actually using. Sword and shield style would give her another +2 AC against missile weapons, but, I mean, I don't know. Is it worth it? Probably not. It's really unnecessary either way, but then again, probably most of the points that we put here are going to be unnecessary, so let's just go ahead and do it. What we're really excited, though, about from that level up is another spell slot point. We could go with Command. Command is a fun little cantrip to have on hand. And did we already have access to level 2 spells and I just didn't put them in here? Shameful, Chezni, shameful. However, Spiritual Hammer, usually a decent take, but we don't need it since Branwen has 3 of them anyway. Aid is... Let's go ahead and read what Aid does. Recipient of the spell gains the benefits of a Bless spell, so +1 to attack rolls and saving throws, and a special 1d8 of additional HP for the duration of the spell. The aid enables the recipient to actually have more HP than his current maximum. The bonus hit points are lost when the recipient takes damage and may not be regained by curative magic. Example, at first level, they go into quite a lot of detail here. The duration, though, is just 1 round. I think that's really why I don't like this spell. It's not that 1d8 extra HP isn't good. It's kind of like the effects of 2 Larlock's Minor Drains stacked on top of each other. It's just that 1 round? And okay, 1 round per level, which, if you're a level 20 cleric or druid or whatever class you are when you have this spell, sure, 20 rounds, probably going to be longer than any actual combat. Branwen, though, is, well, level 4. That's 5 rounds of combat. That's 30 seconds of combat. It's not terrible. A lot of our fights are going to be over in 30 seconds, but the ones that are going to be over in 30 seconds are the ones where we're not going to need this extra HP. Now, it says something interesting here. It says it acts as if it's a big deal, where it says the recipient actually has more HP than their current maximum. Does that mean if they're below their HP, the aid will heal them for 1d8? Because if it does, it almost seems worth it at that point. However, Chant is typically a better spell overall. By means of Chant, the priest brings about special favor upon his self and his party, and causes harm to his enemies. When the Chant spell is completed, all the priest's allies within an area of effect gain +1 to attack rolls, minimum damage, healing rolls, and saving throws, furthermore dice save, blah blah blah. Basically, it gives you a +1. It's kind of like Bless. It's like Bless on steroids. Now, it also said, let's see here, furthermore, multiple chants are not cumulative. The priest's enemies suffer the opposite effect. Yeah. So Chant just overall is a good spell. It's probably worth it to have 2 of them. Now, Silence 15 Radius is a little questionable because you can silence your own party members. So we're going to go with the safer Hold Person spell. That's probably going to round us out for Branwen. There's probably better min-maxing you could do with this. Perhaps there is a reason to take aid. Barkskin isn't terrible. In fact, later on in the game, we'll probably want 1 or 2 of them. But, what can I say? I am not a master of clerical magic in Baldur's Gate. Heck, these days I'm so rusty I'm not really even a master of anything. Anyway, we're not finding TX. I'm starting to really think he's on the other side of the bridge. We could give a quick trot across the bridge itself, but we're not going to be allowed passage. Oh, and Rasad gained level. He also can't double down on weapons, and apparently can't use shields anyway, so we'll go ahead and give him... No, we're not going to give him single weapon style. We'll give him that point in sling so he can stop making a fool of himself. Now, Find Traps is interesting. Move Silently is interesting. Hide in Shadows is interesting. We're just going to put points into Hide in Shadows, because moving silently isn't any good if you can't get into the shadows in the first place. It's interesting, though, if detecting and removing traps is solely dependent on the Find Traps ability...
Your wish?
But I'm not sure if that's true, because you can't disarm a trap with the Find Traps... Man, I am really confused. So, I had to correct my data in one of these episodes by saying that your ability to disarm traps was dependent on your detect trap, which is what I read on the wiki. But a monk could identify a trap, but not disarm it, because they don't have the little unlock picture. Yeah, unfortunately these guys aren't going to let us across.
I serve the flaming fist.
Sorry, traveler, but the entrance to Baldur's Gate is closed. With all the bandit activity about, we've been forced to keep the gate closed. Perhaps if you return later, things may have changed and we may be able to reopen the city. This is the city of Baldur's Gate. You have the mighty flaming fist to defend you. Why would you be afraid of a little bandit excursions? Normally what you would have said would be true, but most of the Flaming Fist is down to the south, and the Grand Dukes feel that the city is exposed. I apologize for any inconvenience, but there is nothing I can do.
And will not go lightly.
Yeah, well, up yours, you uppity bald virgin. TX shall have to wait another day, so to Garrick we go. Garrick. Oh. What lows have we reached that Garrick is a party member that we're eagerly pursuing. Truly, the evil Let's Play is taking us to depths I could never imagine. Bunch of Gibberlings have surrounded us, but they're diseased and really not worth our time, so we'll just bypass them like this. We're gonna breeze past you now, okay? Bye!
And will not go lightly.
Hello, pal.
What? Who are you? If you don't mind, please try to keep your voices down. There be beasties about with better hearing than we. Let them hear. I am more than able to handle whatever comes. You would do well to know your own limitations. I don't care whether you're a great swordsman or a powerful wizard. Regardless, you will end up filleted in the noonday sun if you not take proper care. Move along, will you? You may be intent on digging an early grave, but I have no wish to share it with you.
Thank God. Hey, this is a trusting fellow.
As Aeoln, if that's how you pronounce that name, walks off into the distance. Well, we've been to this part of the map before. This is where we ran into Elminster, but we're going to take it all the way down through the south this time on our trip to Beargost. Rasad, calm down. Calm down. Pull back, Rasad.
Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
No! 5 bandits. So, under normal circumstances, 5 bandits could easily snipe your wizard if he happened to be in front, or your stupid monk who decided to run in front of the party. Luckily, they all fired off at what appeared to be Branwen. Branwen, of course, having the second highest... Yeah, look at that, 5 attacks on Branwen. Branwen having the second highest AC miraculously avoided all damage in that exchange. We're going to pull everyone kind of around here, and we're going to have Luther charge right in. We need these bandits focused on Luther, for reasons like that. Now, Edwin. Edwin actually has a spell that is perfect for this situation. We'll just horrify them. Sleep would be more ideal, but, beggars can't be choosers. Now with them all horrified as such, we'll have everyone swap over to their ranged weapons and just pick them off one by one.
Whatever you got, I want.
Hey, we even get some arrows now so that Branwen can stop just flailing about with her daggers. Sorry, not Branwen, Sharteel. And in all fairness, Sharteel was actually doing pretty good with those things, so... Apparently we gave her all of these stones for some reason. Okay. Time to pick off the rest of these chumps. Eventually.
Come out, you coward.
One day. Finally.
Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
Those awkward moments when you tell everyone to cancel their attack because you issue a movement command.
Who can resist the mighty strength of Luther?
And you might have... Well, you probably weren't wondering why a sleep spell would have been a better spell, even though it's a lower level. Generally speaking, sleep is just easier to... sleeping opponents are easier to deal with, simply by virtue of the fact that they don't move around. And it effectively would have had the same outcome, which was incapacitating all of the bandits. Since bandits count as relatively low-level creatures, and I believe... we don't have sleep. Ah, that's what we should have. We should have purchased sleep from the High Hedge Wizard. I suppose it's not too late. Who's this kid? Maybe we can steal some money from him.
You funny looking.
Don't you be getting any closer, or I'll have Mom come out and give you the belt. Yeah, beat it, child. I've got no time for your whining. Big dummies. If my buddy Albert were here, he'd turn you inside out or something. His mom lets him go wherever he wants because he's tough. He'd smack you good.
Thank God.
Albert.
This is a trusting fellow.
Who's Albert? I actually don't know.
What do you need?
No, not you. Okay, I said this in the first Let's Play 10 years ago. I'm gonna say it in this Let's Play. I hate this guy because you can't tell him to go away. All of the options that you have to respond to him are just pleasantries. Need directions? You seem a friendly sort, so I thought I'd offer my services as a guide. What do you need from the town of Baragos? Just a place to sit, a spell, and drown my worries. Where's a good tavern? A drop or two to ease your spirits? The Burning Wizard and Red Chief are in the center of the town. Feldspow's Inn is along the western edge, and the Jovial Juggler is along the south. They will all serve you well. Thanks for your help. No problem, friend. Enjoy your stay.
Hey, this is a trusting fellow.
Oh, man. Well, I think it's worked surprisingly, somehow, in our harried ragtag adventure, we still have not gone to Nashkel. In spite of the fact that we've gone all up and down the Sword Coast and managed to get ourselves into all sorts of trouble and fight beasts beyond recognition of mortal men and gain several levels to boot, we are still not going into Nashkel. The mines, rather. Anyway, here's our good friend Garrett. Guys, thank you for watching another Please Insert CD Let's Play and putting up with this nutcase. I hope you had a great time watching, or at least got a couple laughs at least, or perhaps a couple groans, and maybe a bit of nostalgia. At any rate, I will catch you in the next one. Take care out there. See you then.